Hey team, I hope you all are doing well. This video is specifically for military members, so if you're not in the military, I hope that even as a civilian, that these tips will be helpful for you. The focus of this video is on how can I improve my 2-mile run time in the Army. Okay, I served over 20 years on active duty in the U.S. Army, so I fully understand what soldiers and military members are dealing with. To be able to handle a full-time job in the military and to prepare yourself to be able to run faster over 8 laps on the track or over 2 miles on the roads after 5 events in the Army Combat Fitness Test. Okay, if you're a civilian, we compete in 5 different events that are highly anaerobic in nature before we do a 2-mile run at the end of the Army Combat Fitness Test. And I built a brand new course called the Army ACFT 2-mile running course, and that course is built specifically for military members, not only in the United States of America, but in all parts of the world, whether you're in an allied force, could be in Britain, could be in Israel, could be in any of our allied countries. The goal of that course is to really drill down on the specifics on what you need to do to run a faster 2-mile. And one of the key strategies that I talk about in that course is focusing on a negative split, making sure that you don't go out too fast in that first mile and really blow up in the second mile. For a 2-mile event, it's a highly anaerobic event. You have to work on your speed. You have to develop your strength and stamina to really handle racing at very high levels of lactic acid buildup when you're running at faster efforts. Granted, the faster we run, the more oxygen that's required. So it takes time and patience on your part to get to a point where you can sustain that goal race pace you're going for. Maybe you're trying to break 14 minutes for the 2-mile. My recommendation is don't go out any faster than about 7:06 through that first mile, and then really try to drill down on those last 4 laps of the race and run, say, a 6:50 for that last mile. Okay, running a little bit more conservative in the early stages of your race, really pushing hard and being able to really pick up pace and pass athletes in those last few laps of the race is really going to make the difference between you running an average time and running a great time. So I built the new Army ACFT course specifically for military members, as I mentioned, but it's also for civilians that are really trying to run a faster 2-mile time and really are seeking tips and strategies that will help them to sustain goal race pace longer. As I mentioned in the course, it's so important to focus on relaxation. Okay, the more muscular tension, the more mental tension that you have, the more difficult it's going to be for you to be able to sustain goal race pace. And the reason I say that is because you're wasting mental energy and muscular tension that could be better served for you to run more relaxed and to run more economical, more efficiently over those 8 laps. If you look at the best sprinters, you look at the best middle to long distance runners, they always look relaxed. And it's something that you have to consciously tell yourself when you're running easy. Even when you're running easy, it's very easy to start seeing your shoulders to start to rise and your face muscles to starting to tense up a little bit. So consciously tell yourself, I'm in control, I'm in great shape. Stay calm, stay relaxed as you're running. To focus on lengthening that tempo run you're doing. Okay, the question I often ask athletes, and even when I was in the service, is how long is your tempo run? How often are you running per week? Soldiers, military members, we do a lot of physical, strenuous activities through Monday through Friday, physical fitness in the early mornings. A lot of times you don't have the choice of what amount of running you want to do in the early morning because your team leaders, your platoon leaders, platoon sergeants already have that mapped out for you. Okay, but that being said, you do have control of what you do during your lunch hour. That was one of my tactics when I was training in the military, training for the Army 10-miler, training for Army ACFT tests, preparing for military races, civilian races. I would always run during lunch, even after my morning PT session, and then after work at times. Okay, you have control of what you do after lunch and after work. Okay, so it's, again, you have 3 choices. You either are going to be interested in being average, good, or great. And greatness demands much more out of us than we fully realize. Okay, so if you're asking how can I improve my 2-mile run in the Army, get prioritized. Follow a legit plan that's focused on a minimum of 12 weeks and preferably up to about 20 weeks to really prepare properly for the 2-mile distance. And the reason why I say that is you do not want to be in a rush. Okay, it's going to take you time. If your current best right now is 14 minutes and you want to break 12 minutes for the 2-mile, it's going to take you time, and a longer build up rather than a shorter build up will ensure that you prepare properly. It takes 3 to 4 weeks for the body to adapt to any stressor that's being placed on it. And a big mistake I see with a lot of soldiers, a lot of military members, Marines, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, is they start doing fartlek workouts, speed workouts, hill repetitions too soon. Okay, there's a place for that, but you have to first build that strong foundation of easy aerobic base mileage before you start implementing speed-specific, 2-mile race-specific workouts like repeat 200s, repeat 800s on the track. Okay, and so this video is not just for military, it's also for civilians that are really trying to run fast over this distance. Okay, the shorter the race, the more anaerobic, the more, the less oxygen that's going to be, you're going to be available to you, versus if you were training for, say, a 10K, 10-miler, 20-miler, 20K, or a marathon distance, or 50K. Okay, those races are much more aerobic in nature. You still need to focus on speed. You still need to do longer tempo runs, long runs, and you still have to focus on your speed development, just like you do the 800 meter and the mile and the 2-mile. But another big tactic here, okay, if you're in the military, I will share this. Get away from wearing training shoes during that 2-mile, okay? Get a pair of racing flats. Wear racing flats. Much lighter shoe. We have greater shoe technology now where, there's carbon plates in these shoes. So a lot of athletes are running much faster times. So if you want to just drop 20 to 30 seconds off your 2-mile right now with doing very little extra training, stop doing the 2-mile in training shoes. Okay, I've seen this countless amounts of time over the last 20 years in the Army where athletes would do their 2-mile with a pair of training shoes on. And when one of the simplest tactics and changes that you can make right now is to order a pair of racing flats on Amazon or any online platform. Get a pair of racing flats and wear those in your 2-mile. You're going to be wearing much lighter shoes, which means you will be running much, much faster. Okay? Do not focus on things that are outside of your control. Okay? On the morning of the race, the morning of the 2-mile, if you're doing the ACFT, get through those first 5 events the best you can. Okay? Don't just jump on the track and start your 2-mile. This is another major mistake I saw with a lot of soldiers, a lot of military members in general. They would just do their push-ups and sit-ups, or they would do the first 5 events of the Army Combat Fitness Test, and then just jump on the track. And once the soldiers or the leadership told them to start, they would start. My recommendation is to do 3 to 4 100-meter strides. Get your heart rate up. Okay, get your blood moving a little bit before you start doing that 2-mile. You have to get warmed up. You have to at least do 2 to 3 minutes of easy jogging, and then do 2 to 3 400-meter strides. Okay, give your body and give your muscles a reminder of what it's about to do before you just, and instead of just jumping onto the track and starting your 2-mile. Stay as relaxed as you can. Keep your shoulders as low as you can. Drop your arms while you're running. A lot of times the athletes are pumping their arms, and the faster they're trying to finish. Drop your arms. Stay as relaxed as you can. Think about those athletes like Usain Bolt or Eliud Kipchoge in the marathon. If you don't know who that is, it's the world record holder for the marathon. I highly recommend Googling his name. Look at how relaxed they are. Okay, so keep these tips in mind in terms of, if you're wondering how can I improve my 2-mile run time in the Army, focus on quality over quantity. Don't be in a rush. Focus on a minimum of a 12-week buildup, and preferably, like I said, 16 to 20 weeks, anywhere from 12 to 20 weeks. I have 2-mile training plans on RunDreamAchieve.com built specifically for military members as well as civilians. But if you're in the military currently, I highly recommend you check out the new Army ACFT 2-mile running course that I created. I'll leave it here on the screen. You can check that out, or just go to RunDreamAchieve.com and click on courses in the up in the navigation menu. If you have any other questions in regards to getting this 2-mile time down, leave me a comment in the comment section below. If you're currently serving, you're thinking about joining the military, or you have any military type questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section. Like I said, I have served just over 20 years on active duty in the U.S. Army, so I fully understand what it takes to run fast, and the things that you're dealing with is a full-time, either a part-time if you're in the reserves and National Guard, or if you're active duty. I understand fully what you're dealing with, prepping for those emergency deployment readiness exercises, getting ready for deployments, going out to the field, trying to handle that. All those things I've been through and done that, so I fully understand. I hope this is helpful for you. Feel free, like I said, leave me a comment below. Check out the resources below all my videos. They're there to help you, and I look forward to hearing about how that Army ACFT 2-mile running course helped you get a new personal best. I'll talk to you in the next video.